A little extra. These are some bubble lights that I bought new on Amazon when YouTube channel Technology Connections, when he made a video all about bubble lights and their history and how they work and stuff like that. I was inspired to finally buy a few. I had always wanted some, but they're a little bit expensive to buy, even new reproductions like these. But I decided, I found a listing on Amazon that was pretty affordable. I paid about $35 Canadian after shipping for these bulbs, and they immediately went out of stock after I bought these ones. So I got lucky being one of the last ones to be able to get a set of these. I bought just the bulbs, no string was included. These were meant to be replacement bulbs for an existing string, but if you've never seen these before, they're really beautiful. I'm filming this in 1080p just for this one video. Really, really beautiful. Bubble lights were popular they were introduced in the 1940s, really popular in the 60s and 70s, and then they kind of disappeared after that. But if you go on eBay, you can see vintage strings of them, and on eBay and Amazon you can buy modern reproductions like these, which are just fantastically true to the originals from decades ago. These look just like the bubble lights of old, and they work just like the bubble lights of old. They're really excellent. How they work is inside this plastic capsule, which is part of the decoration, is a standard 5-watt incandescent bulb. It's a E12 socket, so it just screws into a C7 style light socket that you'd normally put C7 lights into, like these ones. 5-watt incandescent bulb, and the heat from the bulb heats up this tube of methylene chloride, which is a chemical that has a boiling point of like 30 or 40 degrees Celsius, not very high at all. And once it gets warm, it just starts boiling. And it boils continuously. And it looks awesome. Another thing that is kind of lucky for me being able to get this set is that it has orange, red, and blue tubes. The sets that are on Amazon that you can still get that haven't gone out of stock have just the red and orange tubes. But if you go on eBay, there's quite a few listings on eBay, lots of listings for vintage ones that you'll pay a bit of a premium for. But then I found some listings for these modern reproductions as well. I didn't find a modern reproduction set like this that has all 3 colors of tubes. But on eBay there are sellers who sell replacement bulbs, and you can get them in any of the 3 colors. They also make clear versions of these, but I don't think they look nearly as nice as the colored ones. Like any incandescent bulb, the bulb will burn out eventually, and unfortunately these are not meant to be replaceable. This plastic capsule is sealed, and once the bulb burns out, you're meant to replace just the whole unit. However, with a lot of finagling and the use of some tools, you can basically saw the plastic capsule open and replace the bulb. That's kind of dangerous to do because the chemical inside these tubes is toxic. The liquid is toxic and the fumes are toxic should the capsule break. But if you're very careful, you can butcher these open and replace the bulb. I actually have these hooked up to the DimmerBox 69.420. So what I've been doing is running them at about 3/4 brightness. And the bulbs should last years and years and years running at a reduced voltage like that, and they still bubble just as well. Actually, I've had it down to even just half brightness, and they still bubble just as well. Once these get bubbling, it does not take much heat at all to keep them bubbling. And as a matter of fact, once you turn them off, they bubble for a couple of minutes, maybe even a few minutes before they stop bubbling. So there you go, bubble lights. You can find vintage ones on eBay, and you can also find these modern reproductions, which are, in my opinion, every bit as good. And I think they're very nice, very retro cool. And the plan was to put these in the light string in my office. I've had this string of 7 C7 sockets strung in my office for over a year. But when I got these bulbs today and started screwing them in, I discovered that one of the sockets had gone bad, and I had to take the string home and replace it. It was this socket right here. It had fallen apart internally. The center post that contacts the center pin of the bulb's socket, had fallen out of place, which not only rendered the socket inoperable, but it was also an electrical hazard. So I took this at home and replaced the socket, which is too bad. I really liked that this string had all the original Bakelite sockets working. But safety comes first. If a socket stops functioning as it should, or becomes a hazard in any other way, I replace it, no questions asked. This string, which is about the same age, mid-century, 50, 60 years old, almost all the sockets in this string are new sockets. I had to replace almost all of them because they had lost electrical connection. Anyway, there you go. Just wanted to give you a quick look at that. Very, very pretty. I like these.